and I've got a whole lot to say about it. Stay tuned. Okay, I've been sewing a little bit more for myself lately. I used to sew for myself when I was working full-time and when my daughter was little, and actually before I had my daughter, I sewed for myself, mostly for work. And then I stopped and I sewed, actually I kind of stopped sewing, and then I started back sewing and got into crafts a little bit. I sewed for my grandboys and always sewed costumes for my daughter. But anyway, I digress. I started sewing craft kinds of things, embroidering, but I've sort of returned to sewing for myself a little bit. And it's not as fun, I think, because I have more issues with fitting. I weigh more than I used to, and I'm not working. So I do it a lot just for the fun of it, just as a hobby. I don't need any clothing. I've got tons of clothing, but I really enjoy it, and I enjoy the process, and I enjoy seeing the end product. So I made a dress for myself. I went on a trip, just a weekend trip, and had the opportunity to go to a Joann's, and have not been to one in a long time. Bought some three pieces of fabric, and I had ordered this pattern. It's a Kwik Sew, which is a McCall's, part of the McCall's Vogue Butterick group. I thought this was adorable. I'm not into the very full skirts. I don't like gathering. I don't like a gathered skirt on me. The skirts I tend to wear don't have gathers, and most of them are a knit fabric with a big band or a fold over band, that kind of thing. But with this dress, it has a little bit of a fuller skirt, but it's done with some pleats, and I thought it was attractive. And the one that I liked was this version here, although actually I like this neckline better, but I made this neckline. And it's got some, you can see in the line art, if I can find it, there. It has pleats in the front. It's got darts in the bodice, in the front and in the back, and then pleats on the back as well. So, you know, it's a full skirt, but not it's not excessively full. It drapes down nicely. This is for a cotton, a woven fabric. By the measurements on the back, I fit into the category of a large. A large is a bust 40 to 41, waist 31 to 33, hips 41.5 to 43.5. I fit in that range. So I cut a large, and I knew as I started to sew that it was looking kind of big. So I ended up, just as I sewed, I would start cutting off where I could tell when I would try it on that I needed to cut it down. So I cut the shoulder down to a medium because the bodice was just so big. I also cut, after I sewed the bodice on, it was still too big. It set too low on my waist. So I just re-seamed it, did another seam, about maybe 5/8 of an inch around. After that, I still had fullness in the back. So I took apart the back. It has a zipper in the back. So I took that apart to the side seams, and I did the sway back adjustment, which means that I took out probably 5/8 of an inch at the midline where the two back pieces met, and then tapered it down to the sides to nothing to get rid of the fullness that I had in the back. Then I stitched up with a big stitch the back up to where the zipper stop was, tried it on, and I realized it was still really too wide, too big on me. So I cut some of the back seam out, probably another inch on either side. And I was afraid to cut anymore. I noticed trying it on, when I even tried just the bodice part on, that the armholes were really big. Big to the point that they pulled toward my bust line. You know, the opening just came so far forward. It was just really unusual. And I thought, well, cutting more out of the back is not really going to do that. You know, it's going to pull more. That wouldn't fix it. I didn't know how to fix it. So I went ahead and put the zipper in, and the only thing I haven't done is to hem it. So after doing all that, at some point during all of that process, I went onto Instagram and started looking at others who had made this pattern. And I'll put this below or on the screen right here, but there was one person who sews a lot, because I've seen her Instagram pages before, and for other dresses and other garments. So she said, she had a picture, of course, and the dress looked lovely on her, but I'm paraphrasing, I might not have this right. You can go and look for yourself. But she said something like, I had a lot of issues with this dress. It's size too big, and there's major issues with the armhole. That's exactly right. So, excuse me. I'm gonna put the dress on and I'll show it to you. It's not wearable. It's way too big. Even after all the adjusting that I did, the bodice the whole thing's too big, but the bodice is too big. It sits too low, at least by another inch. So really I should have made a medium, but the pattern said make a large based on my measurements. So that would have been crazy to have even thought that I needed to size down. So that's that. The only other thing I forgot to mention, there is extra fullness here in the bodice. I know there's a way to adjust it. Joy Bernhardt, a YouTuber, she does a lot of quilting and things like that, but she's pretty good with pattern adjustments. I am not. But I think what she does is that she will cut to get rid of this excess fabric, cut from the neckline somewhere to the apex of the dart, and then move over the fabric toward the midline, and that removes some of this fabric. I had no idea that I would really have to deal with that issue at all. But really, if you look at this here, you can kind of see a little bit how that would be a problem on here. So the neck is kind of funny. It kind of goes straight across. It's not the best look of a neckline in my opinion. But I'm gonna go put the dress on and let you look at it. If you get this pattern, just be aware of those issues. If it helps for you to know, I used to be 5'4.5", I'm probably 5'4". So if you were in that size range, I wear a ready-made size 12. You know, those adjustments that I had to make or needed to make, maybe that'll help you if you decide to sew this pattern. So I'll be right back and try it on and let you take a look. Okay, I have it on, and so you can see how big it is. Right here, it's very wide, and the armholes, I apologize, I'm gonna move the camera. The armholes, that's the gape I was telling you about, and how it pulls forward so much. The darts are fine, I think, in the front. These are neat little tucks right here, little pleats. They're 2 in 1. There's a set that goes underneath and then a bigger one that folds across on top of the smaller ones. That's the back. Actually, the adjustment that I made for the sway back did pretty well. This is the part here that is still, I can put it here, that needs to go somewhere. So I'll walk up a little bit so you can see the bottom. The length is okay. I don't mind that a bit. And I started folding it up to hem it, but I think it's going to be a moot point because I'm not going to be able to wear it. So that's it. Again, it's a really high neckline. No, it does not work. So let me adjust this again. That's it. I wish I could say good things about it. I can't. The only good thing I can say about it is that everything did match up pretty well. It's not difficult to sew. The pleats gave me a little bit of trouble, but I was trying to do them from the wrong side, and I should have been doing it from the right side, but they're not difficult. Nothing was difficult about this dress. The only bad thing is the awful fit and the missizing. So go on Instagram, take a look. Read other reviews, see what you think. I'm not going to throw this dress away. I'm not going to give it away. I'm probably, because there's so much fabric here and I really do like the fabric, I'm going to try to reuse it in another garment. We'll see if that works. I'm not willing to do any unpicking. I'm probably just going to cut the bodice away from the skirt and then just see what I can do with it. So that's it. If you've made this dress, if you had similar issues, let me know. I'd love to hear from you. I think it would be helpful for others to hear what you have to say. So I really feel like I wasted a lot of time on this. I certainly learned something. Stay tuned because I have bought my first Colette pattern. As a matter of fact, I purchased 2 that were PDFs from their website. And then I went on, I think they gave me 20% off or something after I bought from them. And so I went back and I bought 2 printed patterns, 2 or 3. And I'm excited to sew a Colette. I'm in the midst of sewing one now. It's the B-O-O-I, I can't think of what it's called. I'll put it below or on the screen. It's a beautiful dress. The sizing is spot on so far. According to the back of the pattern, I am a 12, which is what I am in ready to wear. I have heard that Colette is right on with their measurements. They're more in line with ready to wear. I don't know why the big 4 are not. It's ridiculous. If you were to think of one thing that pattern companies would need to have the same, it would be their sizing standard. It's so far off and it's so frustrating. But anyway, stay tuned because I am going to give you a review of my first Colette pattern. I'm working on the bodice now. It's a lovely dress and I hope it comes out for me. I hope the sizing is good. So far it looks like it will be. That's it. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you soon.